My trusty co-host. Right, there we go. Okay, cool. Oh, what have I just done? Sorry, guys. Okay, cool. Right. So I'll start that again. So we're going to start with emotions. Okay. Learning how to feel without following our emotions. So again, every human operates from emotions. It's built into our wiring. We feel because we think. And you know that, like, without getting all scientific and everything else, but science shows that emotions hit the brain milliseconds before logic does. So you're always going to think from an emotional standpoint. That means before your mind even has time to reason, your body has already reacted. So that's why so many people make emotional decisions. So I think, like, in terms of like emotional decisions, guys, you want to always be conscious whenever you're making a decision. You need to ask yourself, am I making this decision based on logic, or am I making this decision based on my emotions? Okay. So buying something, it feels right. Okay. Buying new clothes, whatever. Going getting your hair done, whatever. It feels right. You like it because it makes you feel good. But then quitting because it feels too hard. Have you ever heard yourself saying, "Oh, I just feel like I'm getting it wrong. I just feel like every time I take a trade, the market just goes the opposite way." Yeah? I just feel. We're all like, you know, I would say, like, we all do it. We all do it. So trading, yeah? Because it looks like it's going to move. But reacting to, like, our reaction to things, messages, comments, we react before we think about what we're going to say. Imagine somebody sends you a message and you don't quite like it, and you're just immediately like, you want to react. But if you just step back for, like, 10 seconds, count to 10, that's actually a really good tip. Count to 10 and then respond. Okay. I used to be, like, really bad for it, guys. So I can tell you this because we can preach what we practice, right? So your emotions are like waves. They rise, they crash, and they pass. But if you build your decision on waves, then your life is going to be consistently unstable. So you have to learn to surf the emotions. Do you like that? It's not syncing your emotions, right? So, guys, emotions in business and trading, right? When the market dips, what happens to you? When the market goes the opposite way, your fear starts to increase, your panic level starts to come in. When you see other people's results, other people's results are really good, greed rises. And then you think, oh, let me just raise up my lot sizes so I can, have some results like them. Okay. When you've had losses, frustration rises. Oh, this is not working. I must be an unlucky person. Why does it seem to go the opposite way for me? You're reacting from feeling, right? So when something doesn't go your way, ego rises. But the best traders and entrepreneurs, the best leaders, don't ignore their emotions. They understand them. So it's learning to understand your emotions. They know emotions are signals, not commands. Fear says, pay attention. Greed says, you're overreacting. And anger says, something feels unfair. Am I making sense so far, guys? Excitement says, you're inspired, but you check your plans first. Like going to the events. Well, oh, let me just check. I think I've got plans that weekend. Maybe I'm not going to come and increase my mindset a little bit and, see some top income earners in the industry and learn from John Oliver himself, right? Does that make sense? Okay? So excitement says you're inspired, right? So the goal isn't to silence your emotions, but it's to interpret them. Emotions are just data, not direction. So you can feel fear and still move forward. You can feel doubt and still take the trade. You can feel pressure and still execute the plan. That's what separates the impulsive from the intentional. So in business and in trading, the person who can stay grounded while others are reacting emotionally, that's the person who wins long term. Hear what I just said, okay? That's the person that wins long term, family. So when everyone is selling the disciplined thinking, like the disciplined thinker looks like for opportunities, right? Does that make sense? When everyone is euphoric, the grounded trader stays cautious, right? Because this is so true, guys. You need to put this in terms of how you build the business and how you actually trade, okay? Now, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence isn't about being calm all of the time. You are allowed to react, okay, in certain circumstances, okay? But it's about being conscious of them. It's not pretending that you don't feel angry, sad, or frustrated. It's recognizing it in real time and asking yourself, where is this emotion trying to take me? You have to talk to yourself, like ask yourself these questions. People, they lose relationships, money, opportunities because they act from emotion without awareness. They speak when they should pause. And I used to be bad for that. I used to overreact and not pause first. They quit when they should rest. Okay? They chase when they should plan. So emotional control doesn't mean suppressing it. It just means observing it without reacting. Okay? So when you pause before you react, reclaim that power because that pause gives you space for logic to re-enter the conversation, right? So every leader, every successful trader, and every wise person has mastered that pause. Okay? That's emotional leadership, guys. So every successful person, an emotional leader for every unsuccessful person is an emotional leader first. Okay? Because if you can't manage your own emotions, how can you manage your business, your team, or even your future? So from this day forward, start paying attention to your emotions. When you feel triggered, ask, what am I reacting to? Is this emotion helping me or is this emotion hurting me? What truth can I focus on instead? When you master your emotions, you stop being reactive and you start being proactive. Okay? So, guys, the psychology of money, right? Wealth starts in the mind. Money is an emotion before it's mathematical, right? And how do you feel about money will always determine how you handle it. Two people make the same income, but one thrives and one struggles. The difference isn't intelligence, it's psychology. So, how your money beliefs are formed. Most of your beliefs about money were formed in your childhood. Okay, it's a blueprint that every single person has. If you're brought up in in a family where money wasn't so big, that is something that you will carry through. Okay, unless you change your blueprint. So think about what you were used to or what you used to hear when you was growing up. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Rich people are greedy. You know, you have to work hard for every penny. Be grateful for what you have and don't ask for more. Those phrases are in your subconscious mind, right? I heard that a lot. My mum used to say, listen, I'll just go out to the money tree in the back garden and go and get you some off of it, right? So these are the things that you need to rewire, okay? So reprogramming yourself. So now, even when you want abundance, your subconscious mind still believes money is scarce. I'm not that kind of person who gets rich. If I make too much money, people will judge me. And if your subconscious mind believes that, believes something bad, you will never keep it. So what you do is you self-sabotage yourself, okay? You sabotage yourself without realizing it. And that's why people earn more but stay broke. That's a big one. You earn more, but yet you still stay broke because your income changed, but your identity didn't. So you need to change your identity. Your financial thermostat is set to your mindset. You will never earn and keep what you believe you deserve. So if you raise your internal thermostat, you will always find a way to return to your, if you do not raise your thermostat, sorry, you will always find a way to return to that comfort level. Okay. Even if that comfort is struggle, guys, even if your comfort is struggle, your bank balance reflects your belief, but not your potential. Okay. So emotions in money making decisions. Money is energy. I've said it before. It flows to those who manage their emotions better than others. When people fear, they hold back. They save too tightly, like, oh, I better not buy that because I need to save this, you know, and they miss opportunities, right? When people feel greed, they overspend, overtrade, and overcompromise. When people feel shame, they hide from their finances. Oh, I don't want to check my bank balance right now because I know that it's pretty much saying it's almost negative, right? They avoid checking their accounts or facing mistakes. When people feel guilty, they give too much, trying to prove that they're not selfish. But when you feel empowered, grateful, and strategic, money multiplies. This is why so many people lose in trading because of it's not because of the skill, it's because of the psychology. They see the losses and they take it personally. They think that the market's after them. Oh, you know, it's me again. The market's just going to knock me out of this trade, right? That's not true, right? They see a win and they get emotional. The logic disappears. The wealthy and the disciplined trader thinks differently. Losses are data. Losses are lessons. Consistency is the real profit. Okay? They detach emotions from the outcome because money reward is clarity, not chaos for them. So some practical tips, guys. Detach from your emotions. Detach from the outcome. Do not judge yourself, right? Do not judge your self-worth by your net worth. You're not your income. You're not your results. When you detach who you are from what you earn, you make space for smarter, calmer decisions, okay? So rewrite your money story. Your old beliefs don't define your future. You can reprogram them with new empowering affirmations. Money flows to me because I manage it well. I am a good steward of abundance. Wealth allows me to help others. You say them daily, right? And things will start to shift. Study your triggers. When emotional, sorry, study your triggers, right? When you're emotional, money moves. Pause and ask yourself, what emotion is running this decision? Just ask yourself these questions, guys, okay? Because that is the awareness that breaks the automatic pattern, okay? And once you can name it, guess what? You can change it. So the goal isn't to chase money emotionally, it's to attract intentionally. Okay? The goal isn't to the goal isn't, right? It's to attract it intentionally. I don't even know why I'm getting my words mixed up tonight. Probably because it's the weekend. But anyway, right? Money responds to structure, clarity, and confidence, not chaos, guys. So when you control your emotions, you control your money. When you control your money, you control your freedom. Okay? So, guys, that was the end of my segment. I hope, I pray that you listen to it. I hope and pray that you got some value from it, guys, right? And I really, really hope that you apply what I've just said. Okay? So, family, now I want to bring up Mr. Dwayne Marcus. So, guys, let's put some fire in the chat for Mr. Dwayne Marcus.
Okay, okay, okay. All right, guys, if you can hear me and you can see me, let me just get some sevens in the chat. If you can hear me, you can see me, let me get some sevens in the chat. Absolutely fantastic. I just want to hand it back to Caroline. Absolutely phenomenal part of your segment. I guess for me, I'm always taking notes. I just love when Carol speaks. I love the way she breaks things down. And guys, number one, on our first call, we spoke about cameras being on. We spoke about being locked in. We spoke about being attentive to what's been going on and to what we're saying. We also spoke about note takers being the money makers. Okay, so I just want to know who was paying attention, right? So if you got some value, if you got some gems from what Caroline was saying, just put in the chat box. Let me just see whatever gem you got. Just write it in the chat box, right? I just want to see what people are taking down, what were people listening, what you plugged in, right? What's going on? I'm in the chat box. All right, let me see what's going on. Let me see what you guys were actually taking in. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. What's going on? Don't let me down. Don't let me down. You can earn the most money and still be broke. Okay, South thinks South's plugged in. Okay. What, one person out of 42? What's going on? Take time to pause. Okay, okay. Yeah, they're coming in. I'm going to give you time to type. Don't be greedy in the trade, and that's why you lose money. Master your emotion. Okay, they're coming. Okay, you guys are paying attention. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm just making sure because I just want to make sure that when I start speaking, you guys are taking you guys are paying attention and you guys are taking notes. Okay, I'm not going to go into it too much, right? I'm going to be very brief for today's section, but I want you guys to understand that these calls are designed to really help with your mind, to really work on your mindset. Because yeah, we make money all week. Yeah, we're making money. That's great. But if you can't master your emotions, if you don't understand what is going on in your mind and how to navigate around your mind, everything you're doing is going to be in vain. Okay, last week, if I remember correctly, I spoke about the power of focus. I spoke about remaining focused through adversity, through the challenging times. I spoke about success being a direct correlation to how you focus. Okay, right? And that was last week's lesson. So if you weren't on last week's call, then unfortunately, you're going to have to play back the recording and listen to that. Today, as Caroline said, we'll talk about emotions. Okay, and what I want to go through today is the bridge between emotion and execution. How does that correlate? How do we make this happen? Okay, because discipline is not a punishment, it's about self respect. It's choosing what to do, right? How to do it, when you must do it. Okay, even when you don't feel like doing something, you still need to do it. That's discipline, right? It's saying to yourself, I deserve the result, so I'm going to earn it. Okay, a lot of the time we say to ourselves we want to go and do something, or we want to go and we want to make a certain amount of money, or we want to achieve a certain goal, but do we have the discipline to get there? Are we going to do the work required to get there? You see, most people chase motivation. They want to feel inspired, they want to feel ready, they want to feel confident. But discipline doesn't wait for a feeling, it creates the result. You see, what you need to understand, guys, is you will never rise to the level of your goals, but what you're going to fall to the level of your belief. You're going to fall to the level of your system. And these are built through discipline. And without discipline, nothing lasts. You see, motivation, we can go to these, like we're going to go to an event, you're going to be motivated for the day. But after that motivation, what happens? That's where the discipline comes into it. Discipline, motivation only lasts for a short period of time. And without discipline, like I said, nothing lasts. So let me give you some examples, right? Some real world examples. If someone is a disciplined trader, what does that mean? It means they're going to follow the plan. They're not going to follow their emotions. They're going to follow the plan. What does following emotions mean? Oh, I've lost a trade. Let me take another trade. Oh, let me take another trade. Oh, someone called out a signal. I'm upset. I'm a bit peed off, right? Or are you going to follow your plan and say, okay, then I've taken 5 trades. I've lost 3 of them. I'm not trading for the rest of the day, right? Are you following the plan or are you following your emotions? As a disciplined entrepreneur, right? You're building a business, right? Are you gonna just stop because you're having a bad day? Somebody left your business, or somebody was talking smack about you. So now I'm not building anymore. I'm upset with the world. Or am I gonna wait for the days that everyone keeps on signing up, signing up? No. You work through the lows as an entrepreneur, not just the high days. Or as a student, that's the biggest one. I'm sure we've got loads of students on the call, right? Whether you want to learn or not, whether you want to go to a lecture or not, you still have to study. A disciplined student studies even when they're not in the mood. They have no choice. You've got a big tuition fee of seven or 9,000 to pay every single year. You better study, whether you're in the mood or not. You better get them grades, right? So you have to understand that once you're disciplined, discipline will create the consistency. And consistency is where the success compounds. That's where the success starts, right? Through discipline. So again, what is the difference between discipline and motivation? Like I said before, motivation gets you started, right? But discipline will keep you going. Motivation is emotional. When you go to these events, like, and you're hearing the speakers, you're hearing the results, and you're hearing the testimonies, you're fired up, you're gassed, right? That's your emotional state. But the discipline is foundational. I repeat, discipline is foundational. Motivation is emotional, but discipline is foundational. If you only act when you feel good, you're never going to grow. But if you act when you're disciplined, you'll grow whether you feel good or not. I hope you guys are getting me, right? If you're only going to act with emotions, right, then you're only going to do something when you're happy. What happens when you're sad? What happens when you're going through it? What happens when adversity kicks in? What do you then do? Does everything stop? No, it can't stop. If you're disciplined, whether you're happy or whether you're sad, you're going to still continue to do what needs to be done. Be it build the business, be it take a trade, be it see family, whatever it is that you desire in your life, you're still going to do it if you're disciplined. Go to the gym, get a 6-pack, run. I don't know what it is. Now, the question is, how do we turn discipline into a habit? Most people feel that they need to feel ready. They need to feel like, this is the time, like, okay, I'm ready for it. But let me tell you something powerful. Action is what creates the readiness. Like, you have to actually move yourself. You have to actually physically do the action, and then the motivation shows up. And one of the biggest, I'm always talking about, one of the biggest things for me is going to the gym. Like, I go to the gym every single day, right? But trust me, there are days I don't want to go to the gym. And I'm lying in the bed, the alarm goes off, I hit the snooze button, I hit the snooze buzzer, and in my head, I'm just saying to myself, just get out of bed. Just get out of bed, because the moment I get out of bed, that's the action. The motivation now is now going to happen. I'm going to now get myself ready and get myself to the gym. But if I turn over, oh yeah, long day, right? And I understand that I need to go to the gym. I understand I have a goal. I need to be disciplined. And I said it last week, whether I do something in the gym or not, it doesn't matter. The fact is, I need to get myself to the gym. I need to do the action of getting myself to the gym. Because even if I go to the gym and I do 1 set, 1 rep, I've done something. I'm now training that habit in my mind. Because the moment you train that habit in your mind, it's almost like you start to believe yourself. So what are your daily habits? Right? What are you doing on a day-to-day basis? Right? How do you create these daily habits? Are you waking up at the same time every single day? Are you feeding your mind daily? We speak about it all the time. Like, who are you listening to? Who are you listening to? What are you reading? What are you feeding your mind with? How are you trying to change the way your mind thinks? Feed your mind daily. What books are you listening? What books are you reading? What podcasts are you listening to? What leaders are you listening to? Are you going to the gym? Are you going for walks? Are you doing hikes? Are you doing runs? Are you exercising every single day? What are you doing? Are you reflecting on your day every single night? Because reflection is very important, guys. Reflecting on what it is that you've done throughout the day, what went good and what went bad. It's all part of your emotional intelligence. It's all a part of understanding who you are as an individual. It's all part of reprogramming your mind. Each small win trains your brain to trust you. So if you can tell yourself you're going to go to the gym every single day and you go to the gym every single day, you're going to start to trust yourself. If you tell yourself I'm going to go to the gym every day, or you sign up to the gym and the gym ain't seen you for the whole year, you're just a lie. You're just lying to yourself. Your own self doesn't believe you. So when you tell yourself something, yourself says, mate, you're just trying. And trusting yourself is the first step to discipline. If you don't trust yourself, how do you expect anyone else to trust you? Like, think about it, guys. If you can't even trust yourself with your own thoughts, how do you expect anyone else to trust you or have any belief in you? And then you've got discipline, is the alignment. Okay. It's not about controlling every moment of your life, but it's about aligning your actions with your purpose. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis? You do the hard things today so that in the future you live a life of abundance. This is why we're here today. This is why we do these calls. This is why we're studying. This is why people go to university. Because, people go to university because they hope they're going to do the hard work studying now. And then later on, they're going to live a life of abundance. Anyway, that's a whole different topic altogether. But we're in this business. We trade. We build the business. Why? Because we understand that if we do the grind now, if we give this industry 5 years of our life, the next 5 years will be abundant. The next 5 years will be freedom. And it's not just 5 years, just being in it for 5 years, but it's 5 years actively doing what you guys are doing right now, being on calls, studying, bettering yourself, developing yourself, feeding your mind with positivity, being around positive people. Those are the things that if you're doing constantly for 5 years, you have to change. You have to grow. You can never, ever remain the same. But what happens when discipline isn't enough? What happens when you're stuck in this loop? And no matter what you try, nothing changes. You can master your emotions, you can fix your money mindset, but without discipline, trust me, guys, nothing is going to last. Discipline is that bridge, right? It's the thing that connects you from what you feel to what you don't feel. It's the difference between good intentions and actual results. Now, the question is, how do you break the cycle? Let's be real, some of us are stuck in cycles. We've been stuck in cycles for years. Right? I could tell you stories of stories who are stuck in cycles of doing the same things over and over and over again. Whether it's spiritual cycles, whether it's relationship cycles, whether it's money management cycles, whether it's self-sabotage cycles, it's just cycles. Which one do you fit into? And sometimes it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you don't want more. It's just because you haven't broken that root of that cycle. Now, for me, I say you have to understand the root of that cycle. You have to understand the root of that problem. And for me, there's two types of cycles. There's the cycle of success. And what's the opposite of success? The cycle of self-sabotage. Now, here's what's crazy. Both of them are created in exactly the same way. Through belief, through thoughts, through emotions, through actions, results, and then the cycle repeats itself. So look, let's break this down a little bit, okay? If you believe you're not good enough for something, right? If you believe that you're not adequate, what happens? You start to think small. As Bell says, think bigger, much quicker. You can't think bigger, much quicker if you don't think you're good enough. If you think you're too small, you start to feel anxious, you feel doubtful, and then those feelings affect your actions. And you hesitate, you procrastinate, maybe even quit. How many people have quit the business? How many people have we seen come through this business and quit? Because they just don't believe in themselves. They didn't stay in it. They weren't strong enough for long enough, right? And this leads to poor results, which again confirms your belief, and then you stay stuck. Okay, that is the cycle. Now, what if, right, you believe you're someone that was wealthy? What if you believe that you're someone that has money, you're someone that has abundance? You think with abundance. You feel good. You dress good. You're happy, you're excited. And those feelings that you have help drive your business. They help you with your decision making. When you're trading, you're a confident trader. When you're building, like you've got a certain vim about you. But when you talk to people, you talk with that confidence, and that confidence allows you to speak to more people. And the more people you speak to, the more people you come into contact with, the more results you get. And the more results you get, the more you raise your belief. And then the cycle continues. So it's really important that you have to go through this cycle of belief, understanding who you are, believing that what you're doing actually makes sense, going through that thought process with your emotions, right? And those emotions lead to the actions lead to results. And the results just goes back to the beginning, it's reinforced belief. Because now you can actually believe in what it is that you're doing. If you don't identify the source of your cycle, you're destined to keep on repeating it. How many of you are stuck in the same cycle over and over again? How many of you keep on blowing accounts and keep on making the same mistakes? You're not learning from it. How many of you keep on over leveraging? You over leverage, you blow your account, you get upset, you say to yourself, you're not going to do it again because you go through that emotion. Okay, remember the emotion, short lived. And then after that emotion, you do the same thing again. Why? Because you're not disciplined. You need to go through that cycle of discipline, not emotion. Now, for me, look, there's three main reasons why I think people are stuck in a cycle, right? And the first one is because you haven't learned your lesson, right? Clearly, the money you lost wasn't enough, right? Because you haven't learned your lesson, right? Clearly, that girlfriend or boyfriend, they didn't hurt you enough. You know, the cheating was okay, right? So you just thought, ah, it's cool. I'm gonna go make the same mistake again. Cycles aren't punishments. They're just you preparing yourself, right? There's a story in the Bible for those of you, for my Christians out there, right? And it's about the Israelites in the wilderness. In the book of Exodus, God delivered the Israelites from slavery in Egypt. He freed them, but they were on their way to the promised land. Now, please understand this. This is what blows my mind, right? Imagine, now let's put this into context, right? I'm in Hammersmith, and from Hammersmith to my house, it takes me 20 minutes. Okay. Imagine that 20 minutes is now going to take me 2 days. That's what that. The journey from Egypt to the promised land should have taken about 11 days. But it took these guys 40 years. Why? Because they were stuck in a cycle. How can a 20-minute journey take me 2 hours? I'm doing something wrong. I definitely am going around in circles. You see, what it was is with the Israelites, they were free from Egypt, but they still fought like slaves. They kept complaining, rebelling, disobeying God, chasing idols. They weren't doing what they were supposed to do. Now, how many of you guys are in a cycle and are doing the same things over and over again? So physically, they were out of bondage, but mentally, they were still bound. How many of you guys are still bound by some of your negative thoughts or some of the negative habits that you're still doing? So God didn't just want them to get out of Egypt, but He wanted Egypt to get out of them. Have you guys heard this saying, right? Yeah. You can take a man out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of a man. You know, for my ghetto ones, right? It's just one of those things where, you know, sometimes you have people in an environment, you can take them out of the environment, or what's another one? No, I can't even see the other one, right? Yeah. But it's like, yeah, right? There are certain situations where if you have someone in an environment, they're in this environment and you take them out of the environment, they've been in that environment for so long that those habits are just still with them, right? And you have to go through some serious deliverance. You have to go through a lot for them to be able to get out of their old way, their old self, and come to their new self. So, where in your life has God already opened a door, but your mindset has kept you stuck? Right? You guys are in this opportunity now, but are you in a cycle that is keeping you where you are and not allowing you to progress? You're stuck in your rank. You're stuck blowing accounts. What cycle are you in that is not allowing you to progress to the next level? Sometimes cycles, they're not a delay, they're a direction. But if you don't learn from the lesson, you're going to keep going around in circles and in circles and in circles. Now, another reason, yeah, number two, while people are trapped in cycles and they don't get out of it, is because they haven't healed from past trauma. Like I was talking about the Israelites, they had a trauma from being for being slaves, and now they're freed, they're still in that slave mindset. So sometimes the cycle is about the problem in front of you, but it's about the pain behind you. You've left that situation, but that situation hasn't left you. How does that feel? I hope I'm making sense, guys. So even when these guys were free, they kept saying things like, let's go back to Egypt. At least we had food there. That's what unhealed trauma sounds like. Going back to what your broke self was thinking about, because that's what's familiar. You may have left that relationship, but you were comfortable with that person. So, you just want to go back there because you're comfortable. You're scared of being alone. The fear of insecurity or shame is still controlling your decisions. You can take person out the pain, but you can't take the pain out of a person. It's the same thing. So, guys, the question to you guys is, what are you carrying that you haven't healed from? What is that unhealed place driving your habits today? What is it? What is it that you're stuck in that? And this is, I mean, this is for yourself. This is something that you guys have to think about, because I can't answer this for you. But a lot of us suffer trauma, and that's why it's so important to reflect every single day. Because if you're not reflecting, you can't actually understand or think about where the source of your problem is coming from. And the third reason is you haven't silenced the voice in your head. You see that voice in our head, yeah? It's a deep thing, guys. It's so deep. Like that voice. If that voice has taken control over your mind, you're finished. Because the most dangerous part of a cycle is not the action, it's the voice behind the action. That's why they say mental health is so right, because it's it's not the actual action of what that person is doing, but it's what is in their head telling them to do what they're doing. That mental thought, that process, whatever's going on in someone's mind that is making them do or make the decision that they're making. That's the deep thing. Now, there's an enemy that doesn't just attack your life, he attacks your mind. The devil is real, guys. If you're a believer or a non-believer, I'm telling you today, the devil is real. And that is his tactic. His number one tactic is to disguise your thoughts, right, into his lies. So he plants seeds into your mind and makes you believe that the seeds that he's planted in your mind are your thoughts. And they're not your thoughts, they're his thoughts. They're his lies. And that's how we talk about reading and speaking life into everything, speaking about positivity. That's why we talk about reading stuff, because we need to constantly feed our minds with positive, because the devil is a liar. The devil is constantly trying to feed our mind with negativity. If the devil can get you to question your worth, your future, your identity, he can keep in that cycle, going round and round and round and round. And that cycle then feels normal to you, right? You think that this is normal. You think this is life. People that get stuck in it, they just think it's normal. But it's not normal. It's far from. So how do you break the cycle? You don't just break the cycle with willpower alone. You break it with awareness. You break it with healing. You break it with discipline. Doing the same thing over and over again, making sure that you're reading your books over and over again. Make sure you're listening to positive music. Make sure you're feeding your mind. We feed our bodies with food every single day. Feed your mind, yeah, with good food, meaning motivational stuff, positivity, good people. Feed your mind every single day. What is it that you believe about yourself? Right? This is what you have to ask yourself. What do you believe about yourself? Deep down, how do you feel you are? What do you think you're capable of doing, and what do you think you're not capable of doing? And whatever it is that you think about yourself, or whatever it is you believe about yourself, ask yourself, where did that belief come from? Is it a truth, or is it a trauma? Is it an actual truth, or is it the devil coming to your mind to tell you something about yourself that you're not? This, as mentors, we see the good in people. Some people come to, oh, I can't do this, or I can't speak to people, but I can see the gift in people. And I can see that people can do it. And sometimes they just need a bit of encouragement. So are you in a place where you've got a trauma that is now allowing you to think negatively? You're in a place where now you don't believe in what you're doing. You don't believe that you're good enough. What are you willing to do on a day-to-day basis now to break that pattern, to break that cycle? If you've ever been going in circles, it's now time to stop. If you're going around in circles, now the time is stop. Reflect and realign. If you've been going around in circles, if the cycle of negativity, of failure, of not thinking that you're good enough, of lack of self-worth, if that is the cycle for you, now is the time to stop. Just stop in your tracks right now, turn around, face it, reflect, realign. Because God didn't free us to wander forever. He freed us to arrive in our purpose. Every single one of us have a purpose on this earth. And it's down to us if we're going to discover it or if we're just going to wander the earth, yeah, like headless chickens, and then leave without discovering our purpose, because we all have a purpose. Everything you want, the business, the clarity, the purpose, it just starts with mastering yourself. It starts with being disciplined. Yes, your emotions will rise. Yes, fear will creep in. Yes, the cycle will try to repeat itself. But now you should know better. Now you should understand and see the pattern. You should see the cycle. Now you've learned the lesson. Now you've chosen discipline over emotion. Guys, emotion creates energy. Psychology creates direction. But discipline creates results. So look, the next time fear rises, just take a deep breath. The next time doubt speaks, just watch. And the next time you feel like giving up, remember who you are. You're not guided by emotion. You're not controlled by the past. You're not stuck in a cycle anymore. You're led by purpose and you've been designed to win, and you will win. And you are that one individual that will come in and conquer and take over everything and be that person in your family that shows everyone that it's possible. And with that being said, guys, I'm done. And if you got some value, if I made some sense, put some fire emoji in the chat box for me. If I made some sense, if that hit a note, right? If that made some sense to you guys, please just fire emojis. Absolutely amazing. Fantastico, fantastico, fantastico. Guys, I'm really enjoying these calls, right? Because on these calls, not only am I pouring into you guys, I'm actually pouring into myself. And we all need a bit of motivation. We all need some discipline. We all need to feed our minds. Okay. But before I go, right, I just want to talk about the event that we have coming up this Saturday. Okay, guys, we have the biggest event coming up this side of the year on the 18th. Okay. Now, if you have not purchased your ticket, please go and do so. Okay. If you have not got your team members to be at this event and got their tickets, please, please tell them to go and do so. Because what it's going to be, it's going to be one of these events that you're going to end up going to. And when you're sitting at this event, you're going to be like, I wish I told my man to come. I wish I told this person to come. And I'm telling you now, tell them to come. I've told everyone that I've invited that if you do not get value for this event, I personally will refund you your money. If you come to this event and you think it's one of those events, because someone told me that, I've been to these events, and when you go to these events, they just try to sell your course at the end of it. I said to them, yes, we do have a course at the end of it. That one, I'm not going to lie to you. But the value, the information, the community, the stories, the value you're going to get from this event, you've not seen this before. That much I can assure you. Yes, we will tell you to sign up at the end of it. Yes, I'm not going to lie to you. But the value you're going to get from this event, you've not seen it before. The speakers you're going to hear from, you've not heard from them before. The value they're going to give you. If you're not based in the UK, you better buy a ticket and come down. Maybe we'll try and stream it for you. Maybe. I don't know. You have to speak to upline about that. But if you're not here, you need to be there. I am somebody that I travel to go to international events. If the company do an event in another country, please believe I'm going to be there. I will buy my ticket and I will go and I'll pay for my hotel because I understand the power of events. I understand the power of networking. So it's really important, guys, to be at this event. Like, just don't be one of those coulda, shoulda, wouldas. Oh, I wish I'd attended this event. Don't be like that. Please, 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 get your tickets now and be there. I've got people flying in from the Netherlands coming in because they understand the importance of events. right? So if you haven't got your ticket, if you can afford it, if you have to sell your PlayStation, if you sell your car, if you sell some of your shoes or your handbags, just sell and come. Because the value you're going to get will be able to 10x your mindset. And by the time you finish from the event, you'll make it back. You have that abundance mindset. Let's not have that lack mindset. Yeah, let's not let the doubt seep into our brains. We can, we will, and we shall overcome. With that being said, Caroline, have you got anything else to say?
No, no, just get your tickets, guys. Do not miss this, right? You are already a part of this platform, so you should definitely come and get that value, right? And listen, one thing I will say is would you go to your own birthday by yourself, or would you invite your friends? Or would you sit there cutting up your cake by yourself and your little candles and that, making your wish and no one's there to kind of cheer you on? Or would you invite your nearest and dearest? Because it's the same thing. Exactly what Dwayne said. Don't sabotage somebody else's future, right? When you have the key, and I said this last week, you have the key to literally change their lives. Whether it's one person, whether it's 4 people, whether it's 7 people. You wouldn't go to your birthday party by yourself. You wouldn't have a funeral without people coming to see your funeral, right? So, guys, make the most of this because we have got something very special with John Oliver personally flying out from America to this event. So, get your tickets, bring your besties, and let's make it happen.
All right, guys, it's been a pleasure. See you again, same time next week. We out.